Having a budget has completely changed my finances. I have managed to save and invest far more than I ever thought I could. In today's video, I'll be sharing my December spending, which includes Christmas, and then setting up my January budget. It's a bit of a bumper month because I'm rolling in some cat sitting from past months because I want to pay this into a self-invested personal pension, or a SIP for short. So I'll be talking you through that as I do it. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Laura, and on this channel I talk about all things personal finance as I'm documenting my journey towards financial literacy and building long-term wealth for the future. Each month I budget my income in real time so you can see exactly how I do it and hopefully follow along. The budget tracker that I'm using in this video, it's one that I've built myself, and I am going to be making it available for free very soon. A little recap: I work in user experience and I have a really good salary, and I'm very grateful for this salary. I have been earning this salary for the last 4 years. Prior to that, I was earning less than half. My living costs were probably about the same back then. Budgeting has helped me kind of rein in some of that lifestyle inflation that was happening. So as you earn more money, there is often a tendency to spend more money. Budgeting has helped me strip back that lifestyle inflation and start to sort of save and invest and just start building wealth for my future. In the last 5 months that I have stuck to this budget, so I've only been doing it for 5 months, I have saved just about £8,000. I've saved and invested that amount, and that is nearly twice as much as I saved in the first 7 months of this year. So first 7 months of this year, I only managed about 3,000. Now, circumstances were slightly different. I was renovating my garden and I was just spending money. I was also in a long distance relationship and I was spending a lot of money on travel. Budgeting has just really helped in terms of just getting back in control of my money. And I don't feel like I'm depriving myself either. So each month I put money aside that's like the fun money that I can spend, or I'm putting money into sinking funds and saving pots so I can buy things and I can enjoy doing things, also like without feeling guilty. Friends have been saying to me like, oh, you're so good with your money. But really, I just think anybody can be. And that's why I make these videos. So either like to inspire people or to just show people that it is quite easy to get on top of your finances and to save money and invest each month, regardless of your income. I know that my income is high, but that can also be a trap. So as I mentioned just earlier on, lifestyle inflation creeps in, and as you earn more, there is a real tendency to spend more, to upgrade your life. Consumerism is a huge part of our culture, and marketing is like on steroids these days. Like, it's actually quite invasive and it makes it very easy to spend. Anyway, let's just get stuck in because I think I might just like ramble a little bit. So as I mentioned, today's budget is a little bit hefty because I am including side income from cat sitting for the past few months that I want to put into my SIP. Okay, so we are looking at December. So first off, it looks like I went over budget with my spending, but I wanted to show this because I didn't actually, and it's because of my sinking fund, but I just wanted to kind of put it up there and just show how I managed my spending. But then I also had a sinking fund. The total was about £288. I'm not precious about the pence that was involved. So if I put in this spend, so if we've got this amount of 410.77 minus 100, no, sorry, it's £288. Then that was the actual spend for Christmas. And so then we can see that actually I didn't go over budget, and I ended up with about £6 left. So in terms of my spending for December, eating out was a little bit lower. This just seems to be how much money I spend on eating out. It is something that I can rein in if I need to, but it is just something I enjoy doing, and it is a way that I socialise. Like, particularly in London, we all live quite far from each other, me and my friends, and you just tend to meet in the centre of London and then you go for food. Coffee, yeah. So I was a bit surprised and kind of a bit disappointed when I saw this because if you saw my November video, I spent like over £100 on coffee, which was just silly. And I've spent a lot again for October, and it is just a silly expense. So I am going to try and pull that in, because if I'm spending this much every month, like if I was spending like £100 every month over 12 months, that's a ludicrous amount. It's like £1,200, that could be put to better use. So I'm going to really reduce my coffee spend for January. Clothes. This actually covers some shoes. I just don't have a separate category for it. So I bought some fancy dress stuff, which I think I shared previously. So I did a Santa skate and I dressed up as a reindeer, and I also bought some trainers. Other notable spends, I spent a lot on the sauna. I go to a sauna. It's really beneficial. It has really helped me this last year. I go to a community sauna. It's really nice and it's quite cheap. It's only about £9 a session for an hour session, or £16 for an hour and a half session. I obviously went a lot. I did also take my sister and my niece as well, and I covered that. And so that's probably why it's a little bit higher. Other stuff, miscellaneous. I mean, this is probably just a lot of Christmas related things. I don't know. I don't want to end up with like millions and millions of categories. So this probably isn't very helpful to be like, I spent £163 on stuff, but I did. Supplements. Yeah, I do have some supplements, and I accidentally put myself on a subscription for some. So they went through automatically, which I didn't realise, and they've gone through again this month. A little bit more on beauty. This also covers like shampoo, so it's only face creams and shampoo and stuff, and this is all stuff I needed to replenish this month. And yes, I've spoken through my Christmas spend. So that is just a rough overview of what went down in December. And yeah, I need to kind of sort out the coffee thing. Okay, so on to January. So this is the part that you've probably all been waiting for. I will have timestamps below. This is actually, it's a bit too late in the video to be saying this, but I like to include timestamps so people can skip through to the parts that they want to get to. So for January, my income is £4,533. I had £6.85 left over from last month, as I mentioned. So I've put a little formula in now, so that will pull through automatically. I then have a little bit of side income. So the first thing that I want to include is £425. It's actually from bank switch bonuses. So I set up a couple of bank accounts with a couple of banks because they had some savings accounts that I wanted to use. And also I noticed that these bank accounts did have bank switch bonuses as well. So I did switch over a couple of current accounts that I wasn't using. I never switch over my main account, and I was able to also get the bank switch bonuses. So this was with First Direct and Lloyd's as well. And then my side income. So this is a few months worth of cat sitting money that I want to portion out. So with my cat sitting money, I will have to pay tax on it. So the first £1,000 is technically tax free. And then everything that goes over that, I would need to pay tax on and would have to pay 40% unless I invest it into my pension. So this is one way to reduce my tax bill, is to invest it into a self-invested personal pension. I could also pay it in through salary sacrifice through my workplace pension, but it's a bit fiddly. So I have decided that I'm going to pay it into a self-invested personal pension, and the amount that I need to portion out is going to be £1,309.23. So with cat sitting, I started doing cat sitting properly from September. And in total, since September, I have made around £2,300. And so, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And with this side income, the goal isn't to upgrade my lifestyle. It is to actually help me build wealth for the future, and then paying it into a self-invested personal pension. So I'll be paying 80% in. That will also help reduce my tax bill. So this is how much then we are looking to budget. It's actually £6,274.08. I'm aware that this total over here is not syncing up, but it will in a second. So then we go into the budget split. So I have formula in here, which will then break the budget down into 50, 25, 25. So the typical split is 50, 30, 20. So it's 50% on your needs, 30% on your wants or fun money, and 20% for your future, so savings and investments. I have just been finding over the past few months that when I had 30% spending, I just had a lot left over and it was just going into my savings. So I've now decided to do 50, 25, 25. And so at the moment, because this formula is based on dividing this income, it hasn't pulled in this leftover income. So all of this leftover stuff, I actually just want to put it into my future pot. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully that works. No, that doesn't. Oh, how embarrassing. I know how to use spreadsheets, guys. Okay, that's better. So it means that, yeah, we'll be budgeting out then £2,874.33 into my future fund. We'll do that in a second. I always just like to get my needs and essential costs down, so I know exactly what to have in my current account. So this is all my direct debits for most of this stuff, not transport and groceries, but I have direct debits for all of this, and that will go out. It goes out on the beginning of the month or around then. So I will put this into here. Even though these stay the same every month, I could just leave them in there, but there's something slightly therapeutic about entering it as well in a weird way. Right, £91.86 for gas and electricity. So I'm putting them in here and then they populate up here. Council tax, £99. Yeah, it's hard being a single person, I have to say. Phone, no, wait. So I've got all my numbers like written down here. That's why I'm like looking over there and like talking to myself. Right, £27 for internet. And oh, okay, phone is next. 14.26. I say this every month. I feel like I can get a better deal with my phone. Water is £50.54, which just feels mental. Then gym is £45.73. And what am I missing? Blink. Blink, it's a camera system that I use on my property. And then we've got some of my subscriptions. So these subscriptions aren't necessarily this has gone up to $14.99. They did like a stealth increase, Adobe. It's not great. So as I was saying, these aren't essential costs, but they are fixed costs, and it's actually just better for me to have them in here. Spotify has also increased over the past. I'm in Avios rewards. This is something I do through my Barclays account, and I get Avios points. So I'm collecting a lot of reward points to use for travel. Okay, so this then is really useful because it lets me know this is how much I need in my current account for those subscriptions. I don't have groceries and transport on there just yet. I'll add them in a little bit, but that's recorded on my Amex card. So my mortgage takes up a huge part, and that's not going to change until when I come to update my mortgage, and hopefully interest rates would have dropped by that point. But yeah, it is just a huge drain. £1,428. To be honest, it is cheaper than what I was spending on rent, which is nuts. But yeah, that is the biggest cost. Okay, so this is actually a fun part. Okay, so now we'll have a look at the future part. So this is actually like the fun part for me. Well, in a way. Actually, there's one part of it that's going to be a bit painful. Normally, I pay money straight into my emergency fund. This month, I just want to divide my money up a little bit differently. And my emergency fund is also in quite a good place as well. So I don't want to be paying into my emergency fund forever. I do want to also be paying into investments and just start paying a little bit more into my investing accounts. But what I am going to do, and this is more painful, is pay off more on my credit card. So I had this 0% credit card. I'd used it for previous home renovation. I normally pay about £227 each month, and I'm actually going to overpay by £1,000 because I just want to start really clearing it. And that's because while it is 0%, eventually that 0% will end. So I just want to clear this. Okay. And then next up, I want to pay into my SIP. So I have £1,309. I will actually be paying in 80%. So if I pay in 80%, the provider pays in 20% on top, and that makes it up to 100%. I'll also then be claiming back a further 20% to my tax return as a higher rate taxpayer as well. But what I'll do is I'm going to put a formula in now. So in order to make this 80%, I will then do that times by that. And so that is how much will go into the SIP. So that's 80% going into the SIP. And so I now have £826 to kind of pay in across different areas. So I always do 100 into my ISA. I'm going to put 100 into my holiday fund, house sinking fund. So I normally put about £100 into that. Chinese class. So I'll put £100 into that. I do actually have to pay for the new semester this month as well. But so it's normally £380 each semester, but I've been doing this sinking fund, so I have the money. And in the past, it was always just this thing that would just hit me. Oh no, I have to pay nearly £400. So I've got that money. Website. So this is my user experience portfolio, and I've been putting money in for the past few months. This is just to like pay for the site hosting, and I have it with Wix. And that money will be going out as well this month. Christmas. So I almost deleted this, and then I thought, actually, I'm going to start putting money aside for Christmas now. I probably want about £400 for Christmas next year. So what I want to do is figure out how much I would then need to save each month. So if I have £400 divided by 12 months, that's £33.33. That's a really weird number, actually. So I think initially I'll probably just put aside £30. As the year goes on, I might then increase it. So in the later months, I might be putting in 40. Hair. I need to get my hair done. I think the roots are like, I'm going to put 100 in. Okay, we've still got a fair bit. I'm going to put 200 into my ISA. I'm going to put this into my emergency fund. So in total this month, I'm investing £1,200. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly record the transactions that I've made so far. The money I've spent, basically, since I was paid. And I will come back to you for this because it's probably not very interesting seeing me input money. Okay, so I've added in transactions. I've left the dates off for now because my camera battery is dying. So I now need to try and film this before it dies. So in terms of what I've spent so far this month, I've just recorded these in here. So clothes, this is actually this dress. So it was reduced massively from £160. And I would rather buy more expensive clothes, but fewer of them. Yeah, I haven't really spent that much in these past few days. I've actually been unwell as well. So yeah, that's why I'm mostly just inside on the sofa. I have also added in transport and groceries as well into the needs. And we can have a quick look at the savings and investments. So I've now added in formula, so it just brings everything through. So I can see exactly how much has gone into sinking funds and into like different areas. Pension, this will go in from my wage, which has already gone in. So I pay in this much, and then my employer pays about an extra £1,000 on top. My house sinking fund, I just want some money in there. There probably isn't going to be a goal. I mean, maybe because I do want to do a bit of renovation work in the future, but just not yet. The money that I'm putting aside for this is for things that I need to purchase. So I do need to buy a new microwave, and I need to get my boiler serviced. And yeah, the timer on my boiler isn't working, which has been great. So I need to get that fixed. I don't know if this is, this isn't what I don't know. This is primarily my fund to take a trip to China, but also it might just be like a little pot where I can draw on just for little trips away. This is the first time I've ever like put money aside for a holiday, and actually really like seeing how much I need to put aside. And then when I'm in China, I'll also be recording how much I'm spending and stuff, so I'll be able to see the true cost of it. But I am just putting a lot aside. In general, I'm not sure if I will actually spend all of this. The most expensive thing about going to China is getting there, so the plane flights, and once you're there, it's quite cheap. Chinese class, so this is my weekly Chinese class. We're currently on a winter break, and I need to pay for the new semester. Portfolio site, I can leave that for now, but I'll start putting money into it from next month. Hair, I need to contact my hairdresser, book in a hair appointment. This is definitely, it's definitely like a big expense. And then, okay, this Christmas goal. So I will change this goal to 400. You need to update this a little bit. So my camera cut out while I was filming and I didn't realize. So I have just updated my Christmas sinking fund. I think you could create a sinking fund for everything. And my goal is to not save and save and save. It is to also invest and grow wealth. So I do need to start putting a bit more into my investments. So that's it. It feels good to finally decide what I'm doing with that cat sitting money and to like get it into a SIP. I mean, I still haven't actually put it into the SIP. I now have to decide on the platform. So I'm looking at a few different platforms. Possibly we'll use Invest Engine just because they have no fees. But I do need to do that in the next couple of weeks. I think some people probably might feel that the way that I budget and how like other people budget, I do follow other YouTubers who do like these kind of budgeting videos, and they might think it's kind of a bit over the top, but it really is helping me. And I think sometimes people imagine that it takes a really long time to do, and it doesn't. It doesn't take that long to budget, and it takes a little bit longer because I'm filming the process and going through it in real time. But if I was just doing it at home, it'd probably take about without filming, probably take me about 10 minutes. And then my weekly check-ins, where I'm just checking where my finances are for the week, it only takes me about 5 minutes. I would say that the pros outweigh the cons, and like the sort of anxiety that I had around like my financial security and easing up, and I do feel a lot more positive about the future. As I've mentioned, I will be sharing my budget tracker for free soon. I'm currently just stress testing it, but once it's ready, I'll do a post. I'll also make a video and I'll be sharing the link. So do keep an eye out and give it a go. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in this kind of personal finance content, then please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.